What if I told you that hidden deep within America's past are buildings that were never meant to be seen again? Dark, towering asylums, places where patients were locked away, forgotten by society, and where whispers of cruel experiments still echo in the walls. These abandoned mental institutions are not just crumbling ruins. They hold stories of suffering, mystery, and fear. Some say the walls themselves remember what happened inside. Today, we're stepping into the shadows of America's forgotten asylums and uncovering the dark secrets they tried to bury. In the early 1800s, America faced a growing question. What should be done with people suffering from mental illness? Before then, the options were bleak. Many were locked away in prisons, poorhouses, or left to wander the streets. There was little understanding and even less compassion. That's when a new idea began to spread: the asylum. These massive institutions were built with a promise: to provide care, treatment, and dignity. Reformers like Dorothea Dix believed they could change lives, and she fought tirelessly to convince states to fund them. By the mid-19th century, grand asylums rose across the country. Towering stone buildings with long hallways and barred windows, some looking more like castles than hospitals. They were designed to be places of healing, filled with hope. But behind the impressive walls, another story was beginning to take shape. One far darker than anyone expected. But once patients entered these towering asylums, life was not what reformers had promised. The reality was overcrowding, neglect, and unthinkable abuse. By the late 1800s, some facilities held 10 times the number of patients they were built for. Doctors experimented with brutal treatments, ice baths that lasted for hours, electroshock therapies with little understanding, and later, lobotomies, surgeries that destroyed lives in the name of science. Newspapers occasionally leaked shocking reports. Patients living in their own waste, screaming for help, beaten by attendants. But society looked away, and yet every one of those patients had a story. Mothers, fathers, children. Forgotten by their families, erased from memory. What was built as a place of healing had become a warehouse of suffering. By the mid-20th century, the truth could no longer be hidden. Journalists, whistleblowers, and even former staff exposed the horror inside America's asylums.
Medical breakthroughs changed everything. New psychiatric drugs offered hope of treating mental illness outside hospital walls. Families began to question, why keep loved ones locked away in misery when there was another way? By the 1960s, a movement known as deinstitutionalization swept across the country. Thousands of patients were released. Asylums closed their doors, one after another. But while the buildings fell silent, the trauma of what happened inside them has never been erased. Today, most of these asylums stand abandoned. Empty halls echo with the memories of those who suffered inside. Urban explorers wander through decaying rooms, finding rusted hospital beds, peeling paint, and forgotten patient files scattered across the floor. Locals whisper about ghostly figures in the windows or screams at night. For some, these ruins are haunted not by spirits, but by the truth society tried to bury. Each crumbling building is a monument to a painful chapter of American history, a reminder of what happens when institutions meant to heal become places of silence and suffering. Today, conversations around mental health are finally changing. We are beginning to treat patients with dignity and compassion, but the scars of the past remain. The story of America's forgotten asylums is not just about what happened then, it's a warning for the future, because history shows us when we turn our backs on the vulnerable, the cost is always human suffering. And perhaps the walls of these abandoned asylums still whisper that truth, if we choose to listen. What do you think? Should these asylums be preserved as memorials or erased from history? Tell us in the comments below, and If you want more untold stories of forgotten America, don't forget to subscribe.